Hello, everybody! Well, we did it! We're at episode 8, the finale of season 1, I guess, of Percy, Jackson, and the Olympians. The ending of The Lightning Thief. I'm recording this at 12:15 in the morning, so if I look tired, that's because I kinda am. I'm just gonna do like a breakdown of the episode here. I might do like a final thoughts on the show later, when I'm less tired, and maybe after I watch the whole series again. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the episode. So, we start with a flashback to Percy in camp as he practices sparring with Luke. Now, this scene is this takes place like before the camp capture the flag battle in the book. And no, Percy does not get a slight panic over seeing a very sweat-drenched Luke. That does not happen here. Sorry, I know. Everyone was hoping that would happen. But no, Luke disarms Percy and is like, hey, you're gonna need this. And Percy's like, what am I gonna need it for? And Luke's like, well, you've already used it before. Like, and they practice sparring. And it turns out, yeah, Percy's gonna need that, because in the present, Percy is on the beach. They're at Long Island again. In the book, they're just go to Santa Monica, because that's where the Nereid told them the pearls would take them. But here they're at Long Island, at the beach where Percy and his mom were staying, back in episode 1. And Ares is waiting for them. And so Percy challenges Ares to a duel, and he's like, if I draw first blood, I get the bolt and the helm. And Ares, Adam Copeland is such a joy to watch him do anything, either when he's jovial or pissed off. I think I said this back in episode 5, but it rings true. I think Ares is probably my favorite character in the show. Shame we don't really see him that much, because this fight lasts all of like 2 minutes. That's kind of cool. I mean, like, although if Ares doesn't want Percy to draw first blood, he should probably stab him instead of picking him up by the shirt and throwing him around when it looks like Percy's beat. There's actually this really cool shot where when Ares tosses Percy onto the beach, like he splashes, like, you know, just splashes in like sort of shallow water. The water actually sprays onto the camera. I don't know if that was like intentional or if it was just something that happened and they left it, but that looked kind of cool. But then Percy summons a wave, and he's like, I told you. Like, you're gonna know who I am, or something. I forgot the line, but it was a callback to the end of episode 5. Summons the wave, and I'm like, where are Grover and Annabeth? Shouldn't they be running away so they don't get splashed? But yeah, the wave crashes down on Ares, and Percy slashes him in the heel, and Ares is like clutching his heel, and you can see like the gold ichor, that's basically god blood, spew out. And Ares is like, alright, you can keep your bullet and your helm, but you've just made an enemy for life. And he starts turning into molten magma, and he's about to turn to his true form, and so the demigods gotta look away, and when they look back, he's gone. And that's all the first like 5 minutes of the episode. Ares leaves the helm behind. It's gold and has a lot of patterns, and other than that, I don't really remember what it looks like. Actually, it kind of looks like you know, a full well, I guess that's what a helm is, covering like the whole head. But it kind of reminds me of like a Mandalorian helmet, just gold and with like patterns and eye holes. And they find Mrs. Dodds, Electo, at the beach house. And Percy's like, oh, well, this is your quest to find the helm. So, you know, he gives it to her, and she wishes him luck, which is weird because she's still supposed to have like animosity toward him for him killing her twice. I guess she's used to it because she's a Fury. She can come back whenever she wants. So then Percy's like, I gotta go to Olympus, give the bolt to Zeus to stop the war. Because remember, in the show, they're late, and the war has, I guess, started, even though there's like no sign of it at all, just aside from the clouds being a little stormy. And Annabeth and Grover are like, he's gonna kill you, because like even if you weren't holding a big lightning bolt, you're still a forbidden child. And Percy's like, but I gotta do this. It's like the only way I can potentially stop the war. And so Annabeth, like, for luck, like gives him her bead necklace, which is cute. It's like that was in the book. Although that was before he had to go fight Ares. So this happens a few minutes later than it used. And the whole time I was like, hey Grover, give him a tin can, because that's what he did in the book. But he didn't do that. I don't think I've ever seen Grover even with a tin can in this entire series. Yeah. But yeah, since they're in Long Island, they don't have to take a plane to New York, which, yeah, that they were in a hurry in the book, but like Zeus was like, you dare go through my domain? I should have blasted you out of the sky. But obviously that can't happen now. Percy goes to the Empire State Building and he tells the doorman, like, yeah, I'm not on the tour. I need to see Zeus. He just plops the bolt down, and the doorman's like, oh shit. So Percy goes to the 600th floor, and we see Olympus. And it kind of reminds me of Gondor from the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films. Like, it's very faded marble, kinda, which I mean makes sense. I think marble was what Olympus is described to be made out of. Marble is what like a lot of ancient Greek temples were made from. And it looked kind of desolate, which everyone's off doing their own thing. Zeus is the only one who's there. I don't know why. He seems intent on having a war, but he is there. I guess he saw that Percy was coming, and so he decided to just stay there. Percy returns the bolt to Zeus, and Zeus was like, alright, I'm still going to continue my war. And Percy's like, what? Well, why? And like, your family kind of sucks. Like, you're just always fighting. It's making you weak. Kronos wants this. And Zeus is like, I don't care. I put Kronos down in Tartarus. I can do it again. Like, Percy, like, badmouths him, like, one too many times, and Zeus is about to strike him with the bolt. Then Poseidon teleports in out of nowhere and, like, holds onto, like, the bolt, and he's like, I surrender. And I'm like, clearly you're not if you're like, grabbing onto, like, your brother's weapon. But he does, make Zeus stand down. I guess this is Poseidon saying that, like, Zeus, you win. Just let my son live. Zeus was gonna let, like, Percy live early. He's just like, run along back to camp. Your reward for giving me your bolt is that your life can be spared. Which, you know, is, I guess, kind of typical. Zeus, you know, for as much as many people like say that Zeus is the worst, the absolute worst, for what I can remember in, like, the mythologies, he's not really a jerk in the typical sense. Like, he doesn't... Like, he's not Ares, who's just an asshole for no reason. And he's not super-duper condescending. Like, he gets really pissed off whenever, like, he's challenged. His authority or dignity is challenged. When, the myth of Tantalus, apparently back in the day, the gods had, like, a mortal could invite the gods to dinner. And so Tantalus, for some reason, thought that his son would be the perfect meal. So he killed him and turned him into soup and served it to the gods. Of course, they all saw it immediately, and they were so offended. Zeus particularly was just so shocked that he just vaporized Tantalus on the spot. But yeah, most of the time when people are like, Zeus is just the worst, it's just because he has sex with everything that moves. Consensual or no, Zeus does not care. And yeah, he does suck for that. But anyway, like, Zeus and Poseidon agreed to, like, alright, we're gonna discuss this whole Kronos thing. And so Zeus teleports away into a weird visual effect that kind of looks like he just went through, just turned into a singularity. And Percy talks with Poseidon for a bit. Like, Percy asks him, like, do you dream? Because Ares said, gods don't have dreams. Because that is from the book. Ares does say that, and of course, it's not true because Kronos was talking to him there. And so, but Poseidon's like, oh, Ares is immoral. Of course we dream. Though he also says that he does not dream about Percy's mother. But he does give Percy a pearl, which teleports him out of Olympus to Camp Half-Blood. And receives the hero's welcome. Now remember, at this point, Percy still thinks Clarice stole the bolt, especially because, you know, Ares is her father. And he thinks they were conspiring with Kronos. So he and Annabeth talk to Luke for a bit. And Annabeth goes, like, checking on Clarice, so Percy and Luke go talk in the woods. And Percy slowly puts 2 and 2 together, like, after going over the prophecy with him. Like, the one, like, you know, you shall go west and face the god who has turned. Ares. You shall find what's sold and see it safe to return. The bolt and the helm. And you shall fail to save what matters most at the end. He didn't save his mom. The one that got him tripped up was, you shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend. In the book, Percy convinces himself into thinking that Ares pretended to be my friend and then betrayed me. Although, that clearly couldn't be the case in the show, because Ares is just a terrible jerk who threatens to kill him every other sentence. And that's what he puts together that Luke did, especially because Luke was the one who gave him the shoes that were supposed to drag him down to Tartarus, and Luke's big thing, Luke's line that gives it away is like, I didn't mean for you to give the shoes to Grover. Especially because Percy didn't mention Grover at all. Remember, Luke gave the shoes to Percy with the intention that he wears them. In the book, they go over this more, that Percy's like, I can't use these, can I? Because Zeus will blast me out of the sky. So he gives them to Grover, because Grover thinks they're cool. But yeah, here, Percy accuses Luke of being the thief, and Luke's like, alright, I admit it. So, in the book, Luke summons a scorpion to, like, poison Percy. So he wants to kill him. Luke here wants Percy to join him, because he's like, hey, the gods suck. Like, they're the worst parents ever. They've been my enemy for long. They should be yours. And he pulls out Backbiter, his double-edged sword. Half celestial bronze, half steel, capable of killing monsters and mortals. Here, apparently, it has dimension-tearing powers, because, like, he like makes like an H slash, and it like opens a kind of a portal. The effect looks cool. It's kind of like a curtain, like partly opening. But like, what? That is not from anything I've ever seen. So, and Percy's like, listen, our parents aren't perfect. He's like, I met your dad. I know they're trying. And like that's what pisses Luke off, since, you know, Luke hates Hermes. And so they fight him. They both give each other a nice slice. And then Annabeth reveals herself because she heard everything. And Luke runs away into his little pocket dimension or something. And so that's kind of the end of that. We later cut to like the last day of camp when Percy is about to leave. And he talks to Chiron for a bit. They mention Kronos. They don't mention that Kronos is actually Chiron's father. Yeah, that's a thing. Like, I don't know when, like, he had the time to father a centaur. But it happens. Like, it comes up in the book for a bit. And Mr. D shows up to, like, bid him farewell. Of course, like, not getting the fact that his name's Percy. He still calls him Peter Johnson because Mr. D doesn't care. But yeah, Percy leaves. Annabeth decides that she's going to reconnect with her father, which, alright, seems kind of out of nowhere. But, like, because, like, in the book, like, they have this, like, whole thing where Percy has to convince Annabeth to write to her father, because, like, she doesn't want anything to do with him, because it's like, my dad sucks. He doesn't want me. I'm gonna stay at camp. But Percy has to, like, convince her, like, you need to give him a chance. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess can be read as, like, slightly problematic. You know, like, oh, you should give this, like, terrible person another chance. Even though Dr. Chase isn't really terrible. Especially the later books. Book 3 has him as a pretty decent guy. But yeah, also Annabeth now has her hair, instead of whatever that, like, braided thing down her back was, I don't know what that hairstyle. Now she has, like, these two, like, what are they called? The Wendy's girl braids. That's the closest thing I can think of. Grover comes back. He's got his cap thing after, like, not wearing it throughout the entire movie, because, like, I remember they mentioned that he wears that to, like, conceal his horns. We don't see, like, his horns grow out, because, like, that happens in the book. Like, after they come back to the quest, Grover, like, visibly matures. Like, he starts to grow a bit of a stubble, he's taller, and his horns now peek out of his hair. And Grover announces that he's got a searcher's license, which is a flower pinned to his shirt. And he's like, see, all the natured land is, like, that has already been searched. What if I search the seas? And Percy's like, sure. If you need help, call me. And obviously, that's going to tie into Sea of Monsters, which is most of the main plot. And they're like, yeah, we'll see each other again. And they have a nice hug. Percy then goes to the beach house to reunite with his mom. And I'll give the show a lot of credit. I did not see this part coming, even though I really should have. Sees his mom, like, they have a teary reunion, and then his mom says, Percy, it's time to wake up. And then he goes, what? And the scene just shifts to, like, all the lights are out, he's alone, and Kronos, or his hooded ring wraith form, is, like, in the doorway. And Percy's like, just get out of here, stop doing this. And Kronos obviously wants to recruit Percy here. And Percy's like, no thanks, we're done. And he wakes up, he's in bed somewhere, I think in New York, and his mom is actually there. So this dream happens after he actually reunited with her. And she asks him, like, oh, what was your dream about? And he's like, oh, it's Grandpa. So I guess he's already told her, like, everything, including all the stuff about Kronos. She's like, what did he say in your dream? And Percy makes up a cute little lie. It's like, he said to tell your mom how much you love her. It's like, Kronos, the Lord of the Titans, told you that. He's like, I mean, he could have. Like, that scene is really cute. I really like, you know, it's like parents reuniting with their kids scenes. It's just nice. And there's a mid-credits scene, because obviously they can't have a sneak peek, so... And anyone who's seen the movie knows exactly what it's going to be, as it's gay. Sally divorced him. He can't get into the apartment because she changed the locks. And he's a package down there. He opens it and he's like, oh, that is really gross. And it's Medusa's head. Like, the gods sent the package back to Olympus, returned to sender, and Gabe is frozen. Though, I already talked about, like, in the first episode of how Gabe has been kind of toned down. He's not super duper abusive. So, I'm not sure he really deserves this. So I guess, like, the gods just sent it there. I imagine, since Percy and Sally had already moved out, I imagine they're not responsible. So he's killed by his own stupidity, curiosity, I guess. I don't know. And that's it. That is the end. I want to touch on Luke a bit more, because, like, in the books, like, after Luke betrays Percy, he just sort of becomes an evil sociopath throughout most of the series, to the point where trying to kill Percy is, like, his only real the only thing he really tries to do when not trying to find a way to help Kronos rise, here he's like, seems to genuinely want Percy on his side and doesn't want to kill him. That's interesting. I feel like, I don't know if they're gonna soften Luke. I think they're gonna like make him like a nicer, more kind of anti-villain. Because like, I'll admit, like, in the books he gets like so evil and so like, haha, I'm the bad guy. Like he does evil laughs and stuff. That I'm like, why does Annabeth still see anything in him? Why is there like anything that suggests that he could be redeemed before book 5 showed us his backstory? Here, if they're going to like, I think they could like make his development more convincing if they do keep him friendlier. I guess he's still going to be a villain. He still wants to help the Titans rise and bring about a new golden age, which, I don't know. The creation of humans in the Greek myths is sort of contrasted. Sometimes they say humans exist in Kronos' time, and other times they say Prometheus made them afterwards, under the god's supervision. I'm wondering what they're going... I wonder what they're going to do with, like, Luke and Annabeth especially. Because, like, after Annabeth reveals that she learned anything, neither of them says anything. Like, Annabeth doesn't go like, how could you? I was your friend. They're just silent. And I wonder if they're going to, like, do that in, like, the Sea of Monsters. Season 2 has not yet been greenlit still. And I hope it is, because for as much complaining as I might do, I do like this series. I do want to see them like continue on to The Last Olympian. They might not do Heroes of Olympus because that would be another whole long ass thing, especially because that's 5 books, takes place over the span of like a year and a half. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's it for me. Sony has a State of Play coming out later today. Might react to that. If not, I'll see you for like a final thoughts on Percy Jackson Season 1. Have fun!